Hey, listen, it's not often you could say your Isekai MC got to sleep with his harem, but, ours? He pulled it off. Some would say it's impossible, but he proved them wrong. Oh god, that was such a good scene. I bet I baited a few people being like, "Oh my god, did they turn this amazing isekai into a generic harem?" But no, but it was fantastic between Charlotte and Licia, man. I love how they had so much fun because at the end of the day, a lot of shows would make this a harem, and Charlotte almost just has way more like big sister energy than anything, but like the fact that they were like, "Hey, we're just all gonna sleep in the same bed." Rosal gets dragged in too, and neither one of our boys gets a single wink of sleep. And the other two just wake up, this is the best sleep of my life. How'd you boys sleep? And they're just like, bruh, never again. It was just comedy gold. And listen, if you're gonna do me dirty and kill off the best father in anime last week, and you start the episode literally second zero with his damn grave, you best make me happy this episode. And overall, they did. And the thing is now we're in this new uncharted territory, right? And this show has been anything but generic. They have consistently, gone away from expectations. Like, the way Licia was at the end of the episode is how I thought she was going to be to our boy when she was first introduced. The characters just didn't go the way you think they're going to. And overall, especially with this, shadow group, how we hired them to find information, I need a season 2. I refuse to believe the production committee only funded one season. They have to be cooking a season 2 as well, and I'm gonna be right here for it. Full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see my full and get thought to this or any of these Aristocrat episodes. It's gonna be over there exclusively. So, first things first. What is ours' first, mission or kind of role going to be now that Daddy Dearest is no longer with us? So we go to the round table, and we learn that there's this area. It's a pretty small area, all things considered. It should just be, we should be able to subjugate them and just, we should use them. Because ultimately, it's a path for our trade route. It's needed. If we can't really go around, it would just screw with things. But for some reason, they ain't putting down their weapons. They're putting up a fight, and they should be outnumbered. So, the initial group, pretty much everyone but ours, saying, hey, let's just go take it over. We're gonna force them to bend the knee, this, that, and the third. Ours says, no, let's investigate it first, give me a shot. And what we end up doing is we hire this group Shadow, who are this group of assassins. They can also gather intel. But the thing is they don't just take any job, even if you have the money, they have to choose. And right away our boy notices the waiter basically it's worse than I thought. I love ours, I think he's a great MC. But the fact that he can't hide, because he's a kid, man. At the end of the day, he is a kid right now. And the fact that when you actually see what his face looked like, because I just thought he was just kind of a little oh shit, I see stats, right? But then we see it from the others' perspectives when they're like, oh, you have this look on your face. He's the most, it's ridiculous and I love it. But the idea that the way we ultimately got this character to say, you know what, you're interesting, I'm here for you, is not only did we have a bride-to-be shake. It's one thing for Reitz to shake down people with his insane talent. It's another for a 13-year-old girl to say, should you ever lay a finger on my man, I will hunt you to the ends of the earth and I will slit that throat. And you believe that. And literally, this is the type of vibe I thought she was going to be when first introduced when I was watching that episode. Because I was like, she's too good to be true, she seems too nice. And no, she's just loyal, man. This is the woman he needs by his side because goddamn, this kid could be cowering or nervous and she's right there being like, I'm a smack a fool, and I believe it. But the thing that really was nice is how when he brings up the fact that I can see people's skills, most people are probably going to be like, yeah, I'm not just going to take the word of that. The fact that this character has a different name that you go by. You bring up that name, probably isn't going to think too much of it. Sure, maybe a lot of people don't know of the name, but it is what it is. Ours uses the official birth name, which only can be seen because of the appraisal reading, and apparently that name hasn't been used in a hot minute, and that is the reason why they accept the job. My hope is that this won't be a one-time thing, and that as the story goes on, this group Shadow could be our, ace in the hole, our kind of okay, if we need to do something a little more sneaky, gather some information, we hire them, and maybe we commit to this kind of, relationship that's more of a business relationship, but, something to be counted on as time goes on. Either way, I'm not sure why this location would be refusing to stand down other than just loyalty. but there's got to be more to it, but I'm sure Shadow's going to figure it out. I mean, I forget the exact day, but dude didn't need too long. He's like, yeah, I'll be back in a couple of days. And he's like, okay, do you need longer? Nah, I'm a professional. It's like, bet. Okay. But something I am kind of happy about is to learn more about what happened to the kids on the street that Charlotte was with when we first got introduced to her. So initially, it's kind of like when Charlotte got hired, she said, hey, all of my pay, I want it to go to the kids on the street. She didn't want any pay for herself. She's like, hey, I got a roof over my head. You guys are going to feed me. Send all my money to them. As we now see, what's happened in the background and over time is there's actually kind of this orphanage going on, and they are thriving. I'm glad that they weren't just forgotten. Now, if we never saw them again, was I going to criticize it? Probably not. But if I really think back and rewatch it, I might have been like, huh, it's weird we never saw more of them. But I could have chalked it up to, well, she was giving her money to them, so we know they're okay. To see them thriving, and I think Licia is like one of the sweetest characters you could possibly ask for, and one of the most loyal. But the idea that, you know, her butler is kind of freaking out, all the dirty kids touching him, she then gets dirty on her probably very expensive dress, and she's like, okay, let's have fun. She's awesome. I like that everyone he's recruited is just, they're loyal in different ways, and they're useful in different ways. And I feel like if it was just ours, after his father's death, he would die. 100%. Like, he's not fit. But each of them almost offer something that he lacks, and his main skill is so good for a leadership role. I am so excited to see how this kid's going to grow up. And as he says, he's like, I'll never be you, father. I'll never reach your levels. But he is going to reach different levels that could potentially even be considered greater if his father could still look down and see him, right? Overall, this show has avoided becoming a generic mess. I might be able to bait you into this episode, making you think that it just became a generic harem, but I love that Charlotte is actually an incredibly well-written character who's fun. Yeah, she has some massive assets, but I ain't complaining. And then when it comes to his actual bride-to-be, she is the farthest thing from surface level. In all honesty, she might be the most complex character in the main party, if we're being 100%. Like, everything about her is, like, not comparable to other, like, love interests that I've seen in these types of shows. She's just incredibly remarkable. The cast as a whole is well written, and they still manage to have fun even after coming off of a death that I was not ready for, even though I knew was approaching. But those are my feelings. Let me know what you thought on this week's episode of Aristocrat down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell so you know if I want to upload more, and like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll just give you a video shout out. So today we have Dawn, Chemist, Fluid Druid, Squeleton, and we also have more Rudd. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.